Hello there, fellow captains. This is Connor, and welcome back to another Dreadnought ship overview, where I generally just give a rundown on a ship and how it performs. And today we're going to be looking at a Tier 3 Oberon ship. That is the Virtus. But before we go any further, let me just point out and mention that I now have a Patreon page. I'm in a bit of a financial dire situation at the moment, so any support would be greatly appreciated. But I don't want to get too much into that now. There is a link on screen. Apart from that, let's skip straight into the overview. So I will be comparing the Virtus to the other other Tier 3 artillery cruisers in the game, one of which is Jupiter Arms and the other Aquila Vector. The Jupiter Arms one being the Ballista, and the Aquila Vector one being the Vucari, or Vusari. I just want to call it the Vucari. But anyway, we're going to compare these stats here. Let's just have a look at the ship first. Very sleek, rounded edges. It's Oberon all through and through. I do like the bridge though, it's very minimal, and it is something I'd expect to see on this type of sleek artillery cruiser. Not a massive target, but gives enough of a wide view there. It gives enough of a view there for the crew to see what they're doing. That's a bit too much information for a game where I can see everything that's going on. But anyway, in regards to health or hull points, the Virtus has the same as the Ballista. Both have 12,000, whereas the Vucari has 16,000. So the Vucari is a bit more of a tankier artillery cruiser, but that's not saying a lot when it comes to artillery cruisers, because you never want to be in the middle of a firefight or a gunnery duel with something that can kill you pretty damn fast, especially when it's the Aquila Vector line of ship. And we all know that the Oberon ships aren't limited by a forward-facing arc of fire. These turrets here, these guns can rotate and fire at pretty much any angle. They're only limited by your altitude and, you know, they can't... What was that again? Sorry. Well, I think that might be something I'm thinking of in Fractured Space. No, sorry, that's the Jupiter Arms Ballista. You can't bring the actual ship right down to face the ground or directly up, whereas this thing's guns can do that. They can face directly up or directly below. In regards to the optimal weapon range, the Virtus has 6,000, Vucari has 7,000, and the Ballista has 7,500. Now that's again to be expected, because this ship is so much more maneuverable and just flexible as an artillery cruiser. In fact, I hesitate to call it an artillery cruiser. It can definitely be used like one, but I think that's a disservice to how this thing can potentially perform. I think of it more as a mini pocket destroyer, honestly. It's just really fun to play. I have as much fun playing this little thing over the past few hours as I have with just ramming people in destroyers. Energy is 80 between all three, because Tier 3. Optimal firepower for the Virtus is 800. For the Vucari it's 759. And for the Ballista it's 884. So those big powerful guns on the Ballista making themselves known there. Shield damage absorption for all three is 80%. The maximum weapon range for the Virtus is 7,000 meters. The Vucari is 7,700 meters. And the Ballista is 7,500. So, of course, Virtus having the shortest range, the Vucari having the furthest range, and yeah, Ballista being kind of in between. The two things down here aren't really important. Well, sorry, the maneuverability is. The maneuverability rating is 37. It's 36 in the Vucari and 30 on the Ballista, so the Ballista is not maneuverable whatsoever. It is nowhere as close to the Virtus or the Vucari there. Now this thing, its mobility when power is thrown into engines is insanity. This thing is fast. It's deadly and fast, which is a winning combination, but anyway, that's out of the way. Let's jump straight into the loadout. Now, I've only purchased the modules that I myself find useful. There are a few other ones available. I'll show you now, actually. I just need to go to back. Oh, derp. Yep, back, and then go to tech tree. Now, here are a number of other things available. If I wanted for my secondaries, I could go to machine gun turrets, but I don't need them. In fact, I don't really even need the light flak turrets. Not one bit. Secondaries, bomb catapult could be useful. I like siege mode on this, but rapid fire mode could also be useful. Stasis soda beams? No. Stasis missile? Yes. Flechettes? Maybe. Proximity mines? A big maybe. I do like them. It's always fun seeing a Corvette just descend up right on top of you and then instantly just die. Dream missiles? Maybe. It's all very situational in what way you want to be playing. For instance, I want to go with siege mode because I'll hit them with my Stasis missiles. They'll be, well, static. And then I hit them with siege mode. And it can kill a Corvette, artillery cruiser, or tactical outright with just this flush volley from the siege mode, which is very valuable to me. Like flak turrets and machine gun turrets, I don't even really use the flak turrets. Down here, I have Disruptor Pulse, mainly for Corvettes and anybody that tries to get a little bit too close for comfort. Anti-nuke lasers as well as anti-missile lasers and light order guns can be useful, but again, if somebody fires missiles at me, I'm going to try and get behind cover, and the Virtus is by no means slow, so I'll try and outrun them. In regards to nukes, if I see somebody firing a nuke at me in my general area, I'll move. Simple as that. And lastly, mobile cloak, stationary cloak, or dive maneuver. Honestly, I prefer dive maneuver, but at tier 3, there's one thing you need to take into consideration. A lot of people playing the tier 3. Now, there are some steel clubbers out there that just like playing there to beat up the newbies, but there are still newbies at tier 3 that don't fully understand how the cloak works. So, you can just use that to your advantage, and I believe whenever you're cloaked, you disappear from the radar as well. Don't quote me on that. You know what I'm like with actual looking into the files of the game and not having 100% information on things. But if that is the case, I find this very useful. I don't like the stationary cloak because you can still see the bubble. You can still see like the jello translucent like thing. Anybody that is worth a damn is going to be able to fire upon you and just know exactly where you are anyway. Because you hit this, you're not going anywhere. You are exactly where they saw you prior to actually engaging the cloak. But yeah, let's get into what I've actually went with and why I went with it. Even though I've already pretty much mentioned it. But here we have our particle turrets, which is our primary armament. 800 damage is the average DPS between 0 and 5,000 meters. 725 damage or average DPS between 6,001 and 7,000 meters. And clip size is 8. So this thing does carry 8 shots, and it's awesome. It's really, really cool. Now the other stats there, the only one that's really important, I mean the damage, the range thing isn't important for me, at least because I get close with this thing. Mid to close range, I like that quite a bit in this. The rate of fire is 60 shots per minute, which is damn nice. And the reload time is only 3.2 seconds. So, there's very clutch moments where you're like, am I going to make this reload? I mean, I'm about to die, but so is that other person I've been firing at. Can I make that reload? And then you make the reload. Glorious. I mean, flak turrets as well, as the secondary defensive armament. Oh, that looks cool. Hold on, get away you. Go back out, go back down there. Awesome. Average DPS 1544. Clip size is 10, so not too bad. They are light flak turrets though, so remember that. The rate of fire is 109 per minute, so quite a few you can be firing off there. And reload time is only 2.5 seconds, so the reload time is shorter than the particle turrets, but not by much. So it's worth. You know what? I'll actually show you when we get into the game why I don't use the flak turrets, but we had to go over them anyway. Now for our first module, our primary module, I go with. I wish you could actually just hover over the little icon down here and show the information instead of actually having to go to the list of modules. I have siege mode. The maximum damage that can be inflicted with all shots landing is 16,000, which is quite a bit. The blast radius for each shot is 700. So if there's, if there's a couple of allies or enemies close by each other, you can potentially do some damage to the other one. The duration for it lasting, if you have not fired off all of the shots, is 8 seconds. Number of shots is 5. And the status effect on yourself is depletes energy, stops movement, but you become one hell of a Death Star, mini Death Star. Cooldown is 62 seconds, so the cooldown is pretty damn lengthy, but we have desperate measures. Our secondary, Stasis Missile, deals 1000 damage, which isn't shabby. I mean, you're not really firing it for the damage, but a little bit, goes a long way. Stasis duration is 8 seconds, and that might not sound like much, but whenever you've been hit by this, it's a lifetime. It's screwed me over so many times recently. The range is 13,000 meters, so very long range. And again, what is the actual range, sorry, of the ship itself? Optimal is half of that, 6,000 meters. So, what you do, fire the stasis missile on an enemy, close the distance, rack them. So by the time the missile has impacted on the target, you're within range to deal optimal damage. The movement slowdown is 85%, which is quite a bit. Number of missiles fired is 2, and the cooldown is 45 seconds. Again, the cooldown is a little bit lengthy, but it's balanced well, I think, because if you were firing these off every 30 seconds, every 25 seconds, nobody would get anywhere. You'd be like, everyone would be a monarch at that point. Perimeter module is the disruptor pulse, deals 500 damage in a 1200 meter radius. The module disruption time of duration is 8 seconds, and the cooldown is 70 seconds. This one, I don't agree with the length of the cooldown. I mean, with desperate measures, it's not really that important, but if you don't have that, that can be nasty. That's 70 seconds. I would break it down to about 40-45 seconds. And lastly, our internal module, Mobile Cloak. It of course is only effective on yourself and breaks whenever you take damage, fire weapons, or use modules, so anything other than move. Cooldown is 43 seconds. It's a medium type cloak, so that's basically the consistency or the quality of the translucent effect or whatever itself. Duration 18 seconds, so it does last quite a while, which is nice. That's actually surprising me. I was using this thing in a game, which you're going to see in a few minutes, and this thing was actually effective. By the way, if this does actually remove you from enemy radar while active, let me know. That would change quite a few things. Our first communication officer briefing is Desperate Measures. It's an active type perk. The effect is removes debuffs, refills energy, resets module cooldowns. Basically, it's a broken officer briefing that is just insane. The activation trigger is whenever your health reaches 25%. So, in a nutshell, enemy takes you down to 25%, removes any buffs the enemy have inflicted, refills your energy to full, so you can either put power into shields to get out of there, power into engines to make getting out of there a little bit faster, or even power into weapons to finish off the enemy if they're close to death. And reset your module cooldowns, which makes survivability an even higher possibility. Weapons officer briefing is, or I went with, Survival Instinct. It's an active type perk. Its effect when active is it reduces your reload time by 50%, but your health again has to be under 25%. Now there is another one here, where is it? Yeah, Module Hopper. That increases module damage and healing by 30% whenever you set power to weapons. But that's not going to work for me, because whenever I use my primary module, which is Siege Mode, it drains my energy completely. So I'm not going to be able to do 30% extra damage anyway, because there is no energy left in the reserves. So, my thinking was, if I can fire faster, whenever I get to that low, it's going to save me. Because the increased rate of fire is really nice, or the, what was it, reload? Yeah, sorry, the 50% faster reload. And our navigation perk, our officer briefing, is boosts movement speed by 200%. The active condition for this taking effect is take damage while energy is set to engines, and reduces damage by 5%. This is really nice too, especially for this type of ship, where you're basically a glass cannon in every sense of the word. The faster you can get in or out of combat, the better, and that just is very helpful. And with this thing anyway, I have power set to engines quite a bit. On the last officer briefing, which is the engineering slot, get my good side. It's an active type perk. The trigger is take damage from the side and gain 1 energy per 400 damage taken. I could have went with this one, reinforced, but because I'm an artillery cruiser, I'm not meant to be fired upon. So Desperate Measures isn't as active on this ship as it would be on another ship where I'd have reinforced active. So it was either this or just going with Engineering 101 for a flat 6.5% damage reduction or increase in armor. And that's it. I mean, it's a very fun little ship. Again, I would call it a pocket destroyer over an actual artillery cruiser, but let me show you what I mean. Let's jump into a game. Onslaught, Ixian Knight. It's going to be a good game. I know that because it's pre-recorded. Okay, so the first thing we need to be doing is getting over to our command ship, so we need to find it first. I believe it's just over to the right. There it is. The reason for that being that it's going to attract a lot of enemy attention, and we want to be there to not only get kills, but also defend our command ship. So those of you who have watched me for a while now, especially my videos where I also played the Silesia, or even the other hero artillery ships on the Oberon side, know that this is how I play. I play quite aggressively, again, as a pocket destroyer even. Okay, there's an enemy tactical. It's going to be our first target. It's went behind some cover. Let's hit it with a couple of Stasis missiles there. And it's just gone behind cover. So we need to put power into engines. Get this thing shifting. Be wary of that destroyer. And take out that, there we go, take out that tactical. Now that was overkill using siege mode on that target that was already pretty close to death. But I was panicking that I wouldn't get him killed there. Now we're being focused by an enemy destroyer, which isn't good. We're very low on hull strength. Enemy corvette getting a little bit too close for comfort as well. But we're an Oberon artillery cruiser. Look at this. Not even using the right click to zoom in. You're just that accurate at closer ranges. It's not even worth using your secondaries, honestly. I prefer just using the main battery. Oh, that destroyer's back. Okay, let's deal with him. Now we do have very low hull strength, so it's good that he's focused his fire on our command ship now. Okay, let's see. We do have siege mode off cooldown, but we're about to see an issue with video games in general. Hitting invisible walls. Now, I should have had a bit of space for those to break through and hit the target, but invisible walls, what can I say? They're present in every game. There's always those times where you're playing a shooter or something and you think you can shoot over something, but no. Or you think you can shoot around a corner, but no. I mean, visually it looks like you can, but there's always a bit of model in the way that looks transparent, but isn't. In regards to the actual model, let's take out a couple of these little assault ships. I mean, I like calling them frigates because that's basically what they are. I mean, every ship in this game could be considered an assault ship. Oh, hello. Now, do you see that there? That was basically a cloaked artillery cruiser. There's one just down to the right as well, which I noticed there before switching view to this Corvette. Yeah, the flags aren't going to do the job, Connor. Switch back over to your main armament. Particle turrets will make short work of them. Come on, we can do this. There we go. Look at that rate of fire, man. 8 shots of pure destruction and siege mode as well. Destroys his shields with siege mode. Now we can just finish him off with the base particle turrets. That rate of fire is insane. Honestly. And our command ship is still standing. Oh, there's another one of those damn frigates firing at us. Take him down again. I would really like to get a close look at one of them. I'm not sure if it's possible though. Okay, artillery cruiser again. Hit him with our stasis missiles. Let's go for a closer look. Look at all those little structures down there. So awesome. Okay, we hit him. Did we? No, we didn't. I'm not sure what happened there that they didn't land. But regardless, we're going to hit him anyway. We just had to lead the shots a bit. And target down. Oh, what's that? Oh, there's somebody behind us. What's that? Is that the Corvette again? Okay. That little bot, Elias, got revenge. But that's our first death so far. Not too shabby. Again, at tier 3, there's not going to be as many people playing. Most of the people who have been playing Dreadnought and that are, you know, pretty regular on the game, have already got the tier 4 and 5, so that's the list they play in Legendary. Okay, take out another one of these little frigates. And let's have a look at the radar just to see the light of the enemy team as well as ours. Corvette there. Corvette just got wiped out. That was Elias, the one that destroyed us. Enemy command ship up there. But I see an enemy corvette, and they're always a more satisfying kill. Come on. See how our gun can reach up to this angle? This is something the Oberon line have on the other two. Your ship would have to actually pivot up and down with a Kula Vector as well as Jupiter arms. So there's a certain angle they just can't fire at. In this thing, it's not an issue. You don't need to move the ship at all. You just have to move the turrets. Ah, there's another artillery cruiser. But we need to get some hull strength back as well as energy. Oh, and there's another artillery cruiser. That's what I was scanning that Dreadnought for. I was using it as cover. And hit him with our siege mode. And he's almost down. Just need to finish him off. But now he's in a similar position to me. At least in relation to hull strength. So I come out the victor. Take out these frigates. I'm just fixated on these things. Oh shit, okay. I need to get back into the game. Come on, get behind cover. Engage the cloak. I'm not sure how the actual cloak works in regards to the bots. Like, how do they... What way do they approach or interact with cloaked enemies? I'm not sure. I don't pay a great deal of attention to the bots, honestly. They're very easy to kill, but their behaviour, I'm not too sure in relation to cloak. Oh, hello, tactical. Didn't even need to launch the stasis missiles there, but might as well just keep him in this position. And he's down. Sweet. Alright, let's have a look again. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, that Dreadnought's still there. Okay, let's hit him then. Hit him with our siege mode. Didn't do much, but took his shield down. Okay, let's keep hitting him. We also hit him with our pulse there, our disruptor pulse. And another one of you goddamn frigates. I'll cleanse the galaxy of you someday. It's actually a really cool little minimalist design, isn't it? Look at it. There's another one under that one. Where are they all coming from? It's like some sort of space magician is pulling them out of his hat. Corvette. Okay, this is not an opportunity we're wasting. Come on, take him out. Come on, he's not going that fast. Come on, Connor, land your shots. Lead the shots. I'm landing some. But he's being healed. Or he will be in a second, isn't he? Yeah, there's a friendly tactical. Friendly to him, not to me. If I was in range, or if I was in a position to kill it, I would. Right, now I'm thinking at this point, where are those artillery cruisers? Because, I mean, we were outmatched by tiers in this. Most of the enemy team were tier 3. We had like 2 or 3 tier 3s on our side. So it's just, it just so happens that when you're pit a player against bots, you don't, they don't last long. Not at all. But there is an artillery cruiser down there. Let's close the distance a little bit. Because I do know at least one of the artillery cruisers in the enemy team is a Kula Vector, which means... Okay, that's not a Kula Vector, that's Jupiter arms. But the same thing that I was about to say stands. I could run rings around this thing, and I couldn't fire back with anything but its secondaries. Oh, and there's the other one there. Checking for enemy corvettes or any enemy assistance, but there's nothing. So let's swing around. Oh, and he's firing pot shots at me. Let's go around here first. Get a little bit of our hull strength back. Wait till he focuses on somebody else, which he is doing now. Focusing on our allied destroyer. So let's close the distance and start hitting him. I switched to the flax, but honestly, why? Switch back to the particle turrets. Target is down. Right, now we're winning this quite handily. Even though they've got the advantage in tier 3s. Goddamn fighters. What do they even do? What are they good for? They fly about like just flies on shit. I don't even think I've ever seen one of them fire a shot. Or launch a torpedo. Or even just wave through the cockpit window. All the enemies seem to be up in that general direction, so let's head over there. Oh shit, okay, that's not where all the enemy are. We've got an enemy corvette. Let's hit him with a stasis missile. One of them hit our ally, but one of them landed right on target. And he's gone. Ah, you gotta love siege mode. There's nothing wrong with rapid fire mode. I just think this thing's fast enough as it is. Could be faster. Anything could be faster. But I just like Siege more. I like when an enemy shield drops and they're not able to move because you've given them a hit from a stasis missile. I mean, their speed's reduced by 85%, but you know, they're not going to go anywhere fast with that. So you should be able to reliably hit them with every single shot from a Siege module activation and trying to take out a nuke there. Didn't work, obviously. Okay, let's get under here. Get a good angle on that enemy. We're only 3 points away from victory, though. So I'm not going to be able to get the kill. No. But there you go, guys. That is the Tier 3 Oberon artillery cruiser, the Virtus. It's a little pocket destroyer, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. But this is the part of the video where I ask for help, because I don't like YouTube, I don't like sponsors, that type of thing. The only way I ever want to have support on this channel, if it even happens, is from you guys. So you can go to www.patreon.com/ConnorChaos, or there's just a link in the description below. It would be really helpful, and I'd be so thankful. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and of course, like always, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.